What's up, Chomos? Welcome to another
Still with
episode of the
Chomos.
Random University. And today we have a big crowd because we're doing a review on Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, which, in my opinion, one of the greatest movies ever made. Thank God he put it out. We do have some people in this room here that are a little skeptical of it. I don't know if you could tell by his face up there, but today we're just going to talk about what we liked about the movie, what we didn't like. I go a little bit crazy in saying the best movie ever, but it's because I'm a huge Batman fan, as many people probably know already. I've defended him on many stands or episodes or whatever you want to say. But Ellie, you watched the movie today, right?
I did. And I will say it was great. I mean, obviously, because it's like, just they just released all the footage. It's, not so necessarily so succinct and like the continuity is kind of lacking. But yeah, like the premise of it, I think was great. I mean, I personally don't the attention span for a 4-hour movie, so it was a little rough for me. My husband, of course, had no problem sitting here and watching it again, who I will have come in the room in just a second. But yeah, I mean, it was good. Like the storyline was definitely there, and I don't know if it'd be a good 2-part movie or like an hour, maybe a 2-hour long movie. But yeah, basically based off of my husband's complaints from the original one, the Joss Whedon one, he was like, this is 1,000 times better. They should have just released this one. Like, fuck the other one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the thing. This is something that's actually really interesting, and this is kind of besides the point of it being Justice League and them releasing the cut. I thought it was really interesting to see a movie of that length, to see how much they shoot and how, like, you take 4 hours and they cut that down to an hour and a half. Like, you got to see behind the scenes of how handcuffed they are when it comes to making these movies. And I could only imagine, like, the other comparison to this is obviously all the MCU with the Avengers movies and just all of everyone's solo movies. Like, how much footage do they have of all the Iron Man movies that we'll never see? How much of all the Avengers movies that we'll never see? Like, Endgame was what? 2 hours, 30 minutes, roughly.
I
So
think so.
you got to think with that runtime, they probably filmed close to 6 or 7 hours. You know, things just get extended because, like, that was the one thing I noticed with this, obviously, is like there are no cuts. So it's like there's nothing sped up. Like, they're talking, the scenes are extremely drawn out, which, to be honest with you, I don't mind. I could have taken a 6-hour Justice League movie. If they said they had another 4 hours, I'd be like, sign me back up. How much money you want? You know what I'm saying?
I don't have a problem with long movies. I make a point to sit down and watch the extended edition of Lord of the Rings every year.
Well, it's Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Right. Because it's an entertaining 4 hours.
Right.
But watching this, like, there was a lot of stuff that, like, this could have been, like, we live in the time of, like, Easter, like, after or mid-credit scenes or things like that. Like,
hold on. Start that again and say, we live in a society.
We live in a society of mid-credit scenes, just like, here's a little teaser. Because, like, that's how comics fucking work. Like, here's a little snippet of what's coming in the future. And there's a lot of stuff that, like, this could have been a mid-credit scene in another film, and that would have been fine. Wonder Woman going to that temple and seeing the painting of Darkseid, really fucking cool. How great would that have been if it was at the end of the Wonder Woman movie? But a lot of stuff that just, like, was unnecessarily slowed down. And I know Zack Snyder, like, he does very visually appealing films. But the stuff he was slowing down on, I'm like, I don't fucking care about, like, what I'm looking at right now. This is not helping me to appreciate the story he's trying to tell or the way he's trying to tell it. This just feels like it's slowing down for slowing's sake. And, I could have done without that.
And which is understandable, but the thing I will say to all those, from the Joss Whedon version to the Zack Snyder version, that we're talking about two completely different movies here. The Joss Whedon was clearly, like, he had to have gone into the Warner Studios and they probably said, do whatever you have to do to finish this movie. We're not going any further with this, because that's the way everything seemed. Because then now you watch the Zack Snyder version and you're like, well, you have people now saying continue the Snyderverse. Keep that going.
Yeah.
Make Ben Affleck needs to be Batman. He needs his own movie. But meanwhile, Robert Pattinson has one coming out in less than a year that completely gets overshadowed because of this.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder how upset also that they are for that, like Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson with that Batman movie. Because to be honest with you, this whole thing with the way they painted Ben Affleck as Batman in this, it kind of reinvigorated that, like, I want to see him do it again. I want to see what else he can do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at a point right now, honestly, with just superhero movies in general and just comic book movies in general that, they were never really taken too seriously, obviously back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then 80s. And then even in the 90s, people
even
tried
early
to
2000s, just kind of like,
And, there was all the attempts in the early 2000s, and the only good ones out of that was Spider-Man, maybe Blade.
You take that back. Blade was one of the best. How dare you?
But you get what I'm saying.
Aged well in that movie, though.
No.
But, like, the point is that people are starting to realize now that not only is comics becoming more mainstream, but the concept behind them are becoming more mainstream. And on top of that, people are accepting that, there can be multiple versions. I think Spider-Man's probably to blame and to thank for that at the same time. Because every time Spider-Man gets rebooted, I hear it from I read up on this stuff. So this is no news to me. I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a few years. Another studio comes in, blah, 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 blah. But to everyone else I know that's really casual about it, like they're doing that already. But as I've noticed over the years is that people become more and more they don't care. They don't give a shit if there's more than one Batman movie. Yeah. They don't give a shit if there's more than one Spider-Man. It's just like, yeah, just make them. If they're good stories, just make them.
Wait till they try to reboot Harry Potter.
Never. I think Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter can never be rebooted.
No, they can't be redone. Absolutely not. No.
Warner Brothers will not sit on those properties and not make money off them. They will find a way to make money off them.
They will.
They have
100%.
to.
Wait, speaking of Warner Brothers, can I just say something? Their new logo is shit. Go back to your.
A lot of people said that. I haven't looked at it yet, but I know a lot of people that I follow on social media are like I did this like one simple thing to the logo and I fixed it for you. Thank you, Warner Brothers, pay me. But like I don't. What did they do with it?
They went the minimalist route. They went the minimalist, which is fine. I get that the minimalist. It's clean, it's fresh, it gets to the point. But it's like Warner Brothers has such an iconic look to it. It's like why? It's kind of one of those things like if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Like you had a distinct look, and in the minimalist trend, yours actually stood out more now because everyone is going to the minimalist, very sleek look. And it's like Warner Brothers is a little bit more. Well, the old logo is a little bit more flashy, and it's like you see it now. It looks like. It's like boring. Okay, cool. Looks like an Apple logo, the new Google logo, which is also really boring. But it's just kind of like, okay, great, another boring minimalist logo. Like, okay, great, put in the stack with all the others.
But they also do things like that just to get people talking.
Probably.
So it's the same thing with like anything that goes viral, social media. People just do shit so they can get in the news, so they can talk about something. Oh, did you see the Warner Brothers new logo? And it's like, does anybody really care that much? Is it really that like heartbreaking? But we veered away from what we're originally talking about. So some of the things I wrote down, a handful of the changes that really stood out to me that brought a lot more to this movie and made it much better of a story in a way. Obviously, the opening scene, we don't see a CGI lipped Superman getting interviewed by two children after.
That was the cringiest scene ever.
I mean, you know what's funny about that too is like when I went to the movie theater to actually see this movie, and that was the opening. I was just like, I felt my heart break a little bit, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with his lip? Like, look, I'll put it, Nick. This would be perfect for you, right? Imagine you're working on a project. And you see an imperfection, right? And you're like, it's very fucking noticeable. Would you be like, you know what? This is the best I can do here. Let's just put this out for the world to see.
See, I wouldn't say that. My lead would tell me that because I would be like, this cannot go. And
this is not ready. Right.
We have to send this out now. This is as good as it's going to get. Fucking ship it because that happens all the time. Like I'm sure there are artists out there who don't give a shit and are just kind of like, just give me my money and I'll make whatever, I don't care. But I would give a vast majority of the artists the benefit of the doubt that if you gave them as much time as they wanted, they would put out quality stuff. And unfortunately, it's the production schedules that we're tied to that tell us, like, pencils down, gotta ship it off. And unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, is kind of like, oh, this will be placeholder stuff, we'll get to this later, and you never get to it later. So I don't know, I look at that and be like, if you know, if I wanted to do VFX or stuff like that for a living, and my job for months at a time was, you've got to remove the mustache from Henry Cavill's face, I think I'd find a new line of work at that point. I would just be like, why the hell are we not shaving this off and just putting on a fake mustache for his other fucking movie?
Yeah, right. I don't know, but
just reshoot it. Like, I mean, I think that's got to be easier at this point. But, I feel like it's this classic project and project manager, and the project manager that actually has no idea what the fuck actually goes on to make the project. It's just like, oh, we need it now. It's like, it's not ready. It's like, well, we need it now, so just give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just hand you this half-finished piece of shit, and then we'll make this the opening scene of the fucking movie.
Now I have to look that up.
But just for the Snyder Cut, do they understand how sound waves work? Because I watch that and it's like, wah, 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 and
it's sending out multiple waves. It's multiple.
Multiple screens, man.
If I only had to listen to that once, or like for one shot, I'd be okay. But then I have to see every civilization or every mother box area, and I have to hear that over and over again. I'm just like, what the fuck am I listening to right now?
Yeah, I get it. But this is the thing. That for that opening, it's perfect because it sets everything in motion for the entire movie.
I think it connects it better to the events.
Thing. Like with the Joss Whedon one, it's like, all right, you just have Superman saving people, and then he looks like shit. It looks stupid. So everybody, you've lost the audience literally from the start. Because I know for myself, like I said, I was watching it and I just said, what the fuck is wrong with his lip? What's going on with his lip? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about the story at that point. I'm just like, this is weird. Like,
I would have rather just had Superman with a mustache.
Yeah. You know, I could understand what they were trying to do, because let's be real, up to this point, Superman's pretty unlikable in the Snyderverse. Like, he is a mammy-pammy, whiny, I'm doing this for myself. Like, he never, I never see him become the Superman that we've seen from comics past. You know, that golden age of superheroes that he led into. There were some moments, but it just overall, like, never really, I don't want to say a likable Superman, because I know there's plenty of people who probably really like the Superman, but I could see that it was an attempt to, that scene was an attempt to remind you why we need Superman, why Superman's worth having around, and why he's a good guy. Yeah. But the CG just, like, you couldn't see that because the fucking CG was bad. Like, that was just, it takes the right out of it, like you said.
Yeah, you just can't get past that.
Yeah.
And then
I will say,
go ahead.
Go on. One thing that Joss Whedon's, which I don't know if you've heard this term yet, but it's called Justice League for the Joss Whedon version. The Justice League. So one thing that I did like about his that got taken out of the Snyder Cut is exactly what Nick was saying, how, like, you never see that, you know, true to comics Superman, like how that character is supposed to be. But in the original Justice League, by the end of it, when he comes back and he's just like, hey guys, like, I'm here, I'm going to take care of this. And he's just like, he's confident, he knows what he's got to do. He's like, I'm back, I got this. Like, he seemed heroic. And
somebody need help around here, and it just, like, you know.
Well,
and the movie ends.
Yeah, at the end of that one, that shit was corny. Like, how he just comes in. Is this guy still giving you trouble? Like, come on, man, really?
That's Superman, though. He's cheesy.
I like that. I would have been okay with that.
All right,
he's supposed to be like a Boy Scout.
In the Marvel world, who's Superman's comparison? Like,
Captain America.
But I think
we're talking about ideals or powers.
I I don't know really. I'm just saying in terms of like a character, like
It'd be Captain America.
Captain America.
But I would say Captain America is more of a Batman.
No, what?
How? He's not a fucking miserable orphan. How?
Explain yourself. I mean, this is a Justice League review, but this is also Brian's got a shitty opinion on Batman and Captain America review.
All right.
Fine.
And now I'll get into one of my other points that I had on here. This is perfect. No, this is perfect for this. All right. So in the scene where Batman is, or not Batman alone, we have a new. What's up, man? Can you hear? Ellie? Did everyone freeze? What happened?
I can hear you, Brian. Yeah. They're intense.
I don't think they can hear. Can you guys hear?
I can hear everything.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. So what I was saying was, before we get into the Batman Captain America comparison, in the scene where right after they resurrect Superman, which I'm glad that they kind of extended the whole thing with that, where they were going back and forth about should we do it, shouldn't we do it?
Yeah.
You know, what could potentially go wrong, and not do it in like a jokey way where it's like, oh, Pet Cemetery, like that joke. Yeah, it's funny or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, come on, stop being so corny with the whole movie. Like, it should be more dark, right?
Yeah.
So in the scene where Superman is at the monument and then they're all trying to stop him pretty much from, you know, destroying everything because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on anymore, I liked how they didn't make Batman so helpless. They made him in the beginning, like, obviously he's outmatched by everyone there because everyone has superpowers and he has no powers. There's nothing he can do about that. But what he can do is he's also, obviously, if anyone reads the comics or any of the animated stuff, he's a tactician. So he's always planning 10 steps ahead of everybody. So for him to have like the power gauntlets on his arm to catch, like, obviously when Superman hits him with the eyes, the laser eyes, that shows that he's not so outmatched. So he's kind of thinking ahead. Now, as far as the Batman and Captain America comparison goes, I would argue that Batman is the leader of the Justice League, whether he wants to be it or not. No?
I've always seen Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as kind of like the holy trinity of the Justice League. Like, I don't think I'd say any one of them is the leader, but I think if I were to look to like what group within the Justice League would be like, these are the leaders of the Justice League, I think that the three of them share that mantle pretty well.
Well, I think it's Batman. So
shut up.
My podcast, my rules.
The leader. But he's the one who brought everyone together. But
yes,
I also look at Captain America as kind of the leader of the Avengers.
Yes.
So that's why
Nancy agrees.
That's why I would compare. I would say Batman and Captain America are like they're the same essentially. I would say Captain Marvel is more Superman.
That's what I was gonna say too. I said Captain Marvel will be Superman. They're both fucking aliens.
Nick, you and I are on the same page. let's just agree on that.
If you're unfamiliar with the character from Marvel Comics, his name is Sentry. I would look him up. He is kind of like the Marvel
version of Superman.
Like he gets his power from like radioactive energies of the sun, but he's kind of like, he's very troubled. He's fucked up, and like if you read the Siege comics, holy shit, like
he has schizophrenia, right?
Well, I don't know if you call it schizophrenia. Maybe he does. I'm not sure, but I know that he does have like something else inside of him that like drives him to do shitty things sometimes. But
if you get the chance to read Planet Hulk and then World War Hulk.
Yes, he's the one who talks the Hulk down because he's like that character's good friend.
I've seen that. Well, I've seen that before. Isn't that they have an animated movie for that, right?
They have an animated for Planet Hulk, but not World War Hulk.
Which is a shame because I would really like to see that.
Oh my God! He just destroys every single member of the Avengers. Yeah. Anyway, back to Justice League.
Yes. Anyway, so another scene that really stood out to me that really kind of set the tone more for the entire movie was the Wonder Woman scene where the guys were going into that bank or whatever it was, and they were gonna put off with the bombs. and they were going to kill all the hostages. And for her to come in, it wasn't just like a quick little thing. I liked how they extended that with her really, like even just with the slow motion of blocking every single bullet.
That was pretty cool to see her do that.
And then the touch also, that like I said, this sets the tone for the movie when she kicks the one dude and he goes and like smashes into the wall and you see the blood all over the wall. You know, to see that, like, it's like, oh, okay, this movie's going to be that now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
I'm not gonna lie. After the first Wonder Woman, and then I saw Wonder Woman 84. I wish I didn't. Goddamn, I wish I could erase that from my memory. And then the original Justice League, like seeing that scene from Wonder Woman, I was like, yes, like this is the type of Wonder Woman I want to see. Not just violent, but just like Wonder Woman is very. No, fuck it. She's violent. She's a very violent, serious badass of a person, and like I never got that vibe from Gal Gadot. As much as people love her, I was like, I never got that vibe. I'm like, this is not Wonder Woman to me.
Yeah.
She can't act. Okay.
No, I'm right there with you. I totally agree.
They literally are just relying on her beauty. It's just like,
but you know what? She could totally come in and just look like.
Yeah.
Right. Less talking, just do stuff. Just do the Wonder Woman stuff and just don't speak ever.
Yeah. Did you see Wonder Woman 84?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The entire movie is just her crying about her boyfriend.
Cheetah. That cheetah thing at the like.
No, the corniest part of that was like, oh, she got the bad guy to stop being bad from this corny speech at the end. Really?
Oh, that was the worst speech ever. That was terrible.
I'm happy I didn't watch that.
I've never seen that before.
I think my favorite line from the Snyder Cut was the Flash when they were like, "How are we going to take him down?" And the Flash is like, "The power of friendship," or something like that.
Yeah.
But see, that was such a perfectly timed joke in there. In the Joss Whedon one, it's all bullshit jokes along the way, and nothing is actually funny.
Yeah.
In the Snyder Cut, finally in the Snyder Cut, the stakes actually felt high.
Yeah.
You felt the pressure.
And the villain wasn't saying mother every 2 seconds.
Yeah. But the other thing I wanted to say about that Wonder Woman scene was this is something I don't think really has ever been touched in superhero movies. Every time there's a scene that there's some sort of fighting, there's destruction, there's death, even though if they tone it down and they don't show the blood, they don't show dead bodies everywhere, whenever there's bystanders, you never have the superheroes going up to them and asking them like, hey, are you okay? You know, is everything all right? Like what you just saw was fucked up, right? Like I see this all the time, so I'm comfortable with it. I just killed a bunch of dudes, but like you don't see death on a daily basis like I do. So it was cool to see her go along the line of people and say like, hey, are you okay? It'll be all right. It'll be all right. And then come across to the little girl and then say to her, even with that line that's saying like, you can be anything that you want to be. Like,
actually acting like a hero.
I'm not gonna lie, dude, I fucking cried. I teared. I was like, oh my God, that touched my soul.
You know what I loved about that was Wonder Woman, saving everybody and getting the bomb out of there and stopping all the bullets, and then everything's perfectly fine, and then just like destroyed half the
literally
building.
Blowing a wall out of that fucking bank. Was that necessary?
You just vaporized this dude?
You did not need to do that to him. Like, you took everyone out with such ease, and you're like, you know what? You specifically just destroyed the building.
The same ability she used on superpowered monsters and gods, she used on a regular guy.
Dude.
And blasted his ass. Except the hat.
I was laughing so hard when that happened.
Bruce Bolton got what he deserved.
He totally did. But see, that leads us into the next thing, which is that scene really set up how brutal of a movie the whole thing was going to be. And then Steppenwolf, with the redesign, looks absolutely a million times better than he. Whoa. What are you making that face for? You still weren't sold on him? Tell me he doesn't look like Ultron with horns. There's no denying he looks way better in this movie than he did before. The way he did before, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I love the shape of I love the shape of his body. I love the really weird trapezoids that he's got and the way his shoulders come up, and like he looks fucking gnarly. But I will stand by this. I will always think
that any character who wears armor or gear that adheres to their body and is just completely CG, nothing practical, and it's just a bunch of like little parts, I will never like that. I will always think it's too busy. Like Iron Man, like I like the older Iron Man suit designs, but by the time we get to Infinity War, it just kind of like creeps up. And I understand Tony Stark did the nanotechnology thing and whatnot, but like it feels boring to me, and then it looks like a busy mess. Like how does that suit work? And I don't know. I just really wasn't. I would have liked it if he actually had like shoulder plates and like actual like armor, but that would be my only complaint about that. Steppenwolf did look much better this time around.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying as far as like the functionality of the suit, because it's like it's his entire body, and then there's scenes where he doesn't have like half of it, like at his top half right here. It's like, how did you take that off? It's
never clear like why it's like that.
Because I even found myself while I was watching it. I mean, there's so many other things going on.
It made sense. It made sense. It was like he was controlling it with his brain. So like when Darkseid showed up, he like shed it as like a sign of like I'm bound.
That yes, I totally got that. Like
really in battle, like his stuff came down even further and protected it even more. Like it was more like a Tony Stark kind of controlling it with his mind kind of thing. I love that aspect.
I didn't even really think of it that way. That's interesting now that you're saying that. Now that when I'm thinking about it,
you're wrong.
It does make sense, yeah.
You're wrong.
Let's just all be grateful that they didn't make him look like how he looks in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks corny as hell in the comics.
Yeah. He's got a goatee.
All of the New God stuff, I mean, that's some really weird stuff going on there.
Yeah, but they changed all of them, like Darkseid, and then what was the other guy's name? I can't remember. But they changed like their designs pretty much. Like they don't look because Darkseid is Thanos, and Thanos is Darkseid. They're literally the same thing almost.
Saying Darkseid? You mean Darkseid?
Darkseid. I'm sorry.
I say I go back and forth.
Yeah, Marvel Comics actually saw DC come out with Darkseid and they're like, we need our own version and let's make them look pretty similar, but make them purple.
That was cool because I want to say, and I'm really sorry for anybody watching this who like truly does know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure Jack Kirby left Marvel Comics to go work at DC to expand upon the New Gods and Darkseid after that had been released. So I think you can thank him for like Steppenwolf and all of them and the way he fleshed that out, because he just loved those types of like sci-fi stories and fleshing those out. So
you can thank Jack Kirby for just about almost everything.
For a lot of stuff, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the way I like how they made Steppenwolf more brutal and like violent. Just overall, like the whole scene of going to Themyscira and getting the first mother box,
that was.
Like, I mean, that changes the whole movie right there. Like once you see him go in there, when they drop the whole temple down, and then they're like, "Oh, we're safe," and then he just busts out, and you're like, "Holy shit!" And then he just comes out, and like even when he's swinging the axe and just fucking every one of them up, and they're trying to get away. Yeah,
he did not cut nearly enough people in half with that axe. I'm sorry, when somebody's swinging an axe, I want to see parts flying. Yeah. But when he swings it and I see like someone's whole body go flying, I'm like, what, did you hit him with the side of it? Do you know how to use an axe?
Yeah, they kind of like dipped their toe into the R-rated category.
Yeah.
They didn't go full-fledged because they dropped a couple of F-bombs that I wasn't expecting.
I got to hear Batman say fuck. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And,
love that.
And you do see people get cut, but just like the blood is kind of like,
it's subdued. It's not like
it's not like a huge. It's not like Tarantino blood.
Yeah, it wasn't like Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's just like it's just enough to be in the R category, but like not enough to be like overly gory. But I just liked how it was more brutal. And then also when Wonder Woman is telling Batman about the war that happened when Darkseid came, and then to see that whole thing play out for what it was with Zeus there, and with the Amazons, with the Atlanteans, there were Green Lanterns, like
that little bit extra was so nice.
Yeah. Just seeing all that.
Wasn't that in the theatrical release too?
Mm-mm.
It was, but it was really shortened down, and like you could tell with this one, they definitely drew that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was being able to see more of that, and I mean, even that scene was brutal with them killing everybody and the fighting. It gave like that Lord of the Rings feel to it. Like when Lord of the Rings, everybody waits for the battles. You know.
She said, she's like, this feels like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, you know, like especially like Return of the King, or you know, even in Twin Towers when like they're just waiting and like the orcs are coming, and it's like, do it. It's like, do it. Like let's start smashing shit.
I gotta tell you, just a little side note right here. If you go back and you watch the Lord of the Rings, I'll tell you, the writing in those movies do not hold up. It is so bad.
If you want to do another episode,
Return of the King, and it was still fantastic.
We'll do another
Brian,
episode based on the Lord of the Rings and how poor the writing
and
is.
why Brian is wrong as hell.
Yeah, we literally just watched Return of the King extended edition. Like, shut your whore mouth.
When did you watch that?
We watched
I don't know. Here, I'll just give you one scene. I'll give you one scene that stands out to me in that. In Return of the King, they're at the Rohan, right? They're at the
Rohan.
The Rohan, whatever the fuck it is. Or no, was it? I think it was in Twin Towers. And Legolas walks out on a very fucking obviously CGI'd background.
It was early 2000s. What do you want from them?
And then Aragorn walks out behind him, and the sky, because the sun is coming up, the sky is a little pink and red, and Legolas goes, "Blood has been spilled this night." Like, what the fuck? Are you just assuming that? Because of the sunrise?
Oh, David Middle Earth.
Yeah,
Girl, it's not even a real fucking place, okay? They can have like 5 suns. You don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't even know what, like that's your example. That's your argument for.
No, but that's the thing. Like, I'll sit there and I'll watch it, and I'm like, and I laugh at that, as opposed to I remember seeing it in the theater and being like, "Oh, blood has been spilled this night. I can't wait to see how they get revenge."
And I could totally buy into this fantasy world and all those spells and magical creatures. But when the elf said that the sky is red, blood has been spilled, that totally took me out of it.
Do we need to bust out the Somalian?
Not the talking and walking
However you
street,
pronounce
but
it.
that line.
The fucking what? Can we talk about Justice League? I'm about to fucking pop a blood. Fucking, I can't even right now. You guys are killing me.
We'll do another episode where we just bash Lord of the Rings for 3 hours.
No.
And I'm just gonna scream the whole time.
This is what I'm gonna say, and then we'll move on. The first 2 Hobbit movies are better than the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Back to Justice League.
Shut your mouth.
I'm gonna put out my shitty opinion and then change the subject.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, real quick. To get back on topic, I have a point about how I brought this up actually. I think I remember last time that we were just talking about a Batman related episode, and we were talking about things, and I was talking about the point how it was along the lines of how you say it seems like Lord of the Rings, and people will say, like, "Oh, how can you possibly compare Justice League to Lord of the Rings? How in the hell?" But the thing is that these comics and these characters and these worlds, there is a nice thick layer of lore around all of these characters that,
with like 4 C's.
Yeah, it's like if you could, it's like, you know what? And we're getting, like I said, it's like how we're getting to that point in time with superhero movies where people are realizing that it's like, oh, these are really well fleshed out worlds and characters that if you really dive into it, you can make some really epic movies. Not just, oh, it's a fun superhero movie for the kids. It's like, no, this is a epic
Story. This is a legitimate story.
cinematic thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then you can really build a story out of it, like with Flashpoint. There's so much there that they can do with that movie, and hopefully they do. But it's like that universe is kind of ruined now. It's like, what are they gonna, they're going to make one Flash movie. They're going to make Flashpoint. They're going to have the older Batman, and they're going to have Ben Affleck as Batman. And then we're just going to do nothing with that after that.
I don't want to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like they canceled the Cyborg standalone movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. I'm okay with it.
I wouldn't count any of that out. With the success, I would consider the Zack Snyder's Justice League a success. I think people were really excited about it, and I think with that, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, but I also wouldn't be surprised if this does kind of kick up them saying like, okay, like, people like this, we let this guy have his creative vision for what he wanted to do, and it worked out in the end. So maybe we should continue to pursue, these things.
Maybe they could, but it seems, I don't know, to me it seems like, and we don't obviously know what goes on behind the scenes, but it just seems to me like Zack Snyder was like kind of, what's the word for him? Outed by Warner Brothers because they didn't want, even with him putting out his cut of this movie, they said don't shoot any more scenes, and then he went and fucking shot more scenes, and he put it on there anyway. And it's like, and the scene that he did shoot is such a pivotal thing leading to all the next stuff, and it's like, why would you shoot that? Because now what he's doing is he's putting Warner Brothers in a corner and saying like, hey, there's a whole like 4 more movies out of this, and if you guys are gonna fuck me, I'm gonna fuck you on this.
Yeah, they put him in the corner. That he's putting them right back there.
Yeah,
I mean, HBO Max, I think they updated their projected subscriber count by 2024. I think they doubled the number what they thought it was going to be, and I think he has a lot to do with that. So if you're ever wondering, will they or won't they? Always ask yourself, is it going to make them more money if they do it? And if the answer is yes, they're probably going to do it. So if this boosts their numbers like this did, then there's a good chance they're going to pursue it. At least another Justice League movie to tie up the whole dark side thing.
It's Warner Brothers is the decision maker here, not HBO. So like,
correct.
There's one really, really important, it's probably the most important factor that anytime I listen to conversations or watch videos regarding this aspect, people always leave out this one thing because they always go, Zack Snyder, Warner Bros., back and forth, back and forth. No one thinks about the fact that it's like, do these actors want to come back and do it? Ben Affleck is like, he's like, I am fucking done with this. Like he contributed playing Batman to him having to go back to rehab because of his alcoholism. Like he's like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. He's like, I'm
gonna bring in someone else.
Yeah, he's like the pressure of that shit, and like just like if it fails, you're just shunned by the world, and just like, okay, you're gonna get Henry. I think Henry Cavill said he might. I don't know.
I think he'd do it. He looks like a good Superman. I'll give him that much. He looks the part.
He absolutely does. And I'll tell you this about Henry Cavill. He is one of the few people who can be an iconic character like Superman, and I could still watch him in The Witcher and be like, and say he's not Clark Kent. Like, I don't look at him like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, what could be a good example for this? Like, all right, if Elijah Wood is in a movie, I'm like, oh, it's Frodo.
Every time, 10 times out of 10.
On the screen, I'm like, oh, it's Frodo. You know, right away. He's already done. If Daniel Radcliffe comes on, hey, it's Harry Potter. I didn't know Harry Potter was in this movie. You know, like, if he was the same as them, and I believe he's a step above, like, he comes on as the Witcher, and I'm like, oh, shit, that's Geralt. Like, that's not fucking Clark Kent. Like, that's badass.
I saw someone that did, on a side note, I saw someone that had some fan art of what Daniel Radcliffe would look like as the MCU's Wolverine, and I'm like, it's not bad. You know, he could pull it off, I guess.
I saw that too.
Wait,
they did like a mock-up, like.
But even that.
Yeah, it's a very realistic like fan depiction of what he could look like if like he got in shape for the role and went for it, and it looks really good.
All right, let's get back to Justice League. Talking about Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings nonsense, but I'm gonna bring up some of the small details that I like that were in this. They had what's his face, Ryan Choi, who is eventually going to become the Atom. So that was cool to see him in there.
That's who that was. Yeah. They name dropped him at the end of the movie, like, you're now the head of this department. He goes, yeah, I fucking know I am. Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like I should know who this character is.
Yeah. So I like that they brought that into it. I also like that they put the scene where Barry Allen is saving Iris West, who eventually becomes really like his love interest. And I'll tell you what, that scene is also very like there's something like poetic about it, even with the music that was chosen, just the way it all comes together. I like that. And the other thing is, I liked how they carried over Aquaman's alcoholism from his movie prior, and then all the drinking in this one.
Put it back.
I swear to God, all the guy does is drink. Like,
I love how he's like protect these fucking oceans, and then he throws a glass bottle.
he
Right?
just smashes the
Fucking
bottle.
litter bug.
Piece of shit.
Or we'll send it all back in the next movie.
Well,
Yeah.
if we're being fair, glass is made from sand, which is from the ocean.
Okay, but it's not in the sand
got us
state.
there.
It's still in the glass state. Like a fish could get cut. Okay,
Okay.
there could be like a ship. Other fish.
I'm sure they can get cut by coral too.
He's the protector of the oceans. He'll make sure no fish gets
I'm
cut.
sure he knows that it's okay. If anyone does.
The other
yeah.
thing. Oh, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Oh no, if this is gonna derail us, then it's fine if we don't talk about it now. But I honestly could have done without all of the extra Aquaman stuff. I would have preferred if like, don't get me wrong, I love who played Green Goblin.
On the phone.
Willem Dafoe. I love Willem Dafoe. I can never get enough Willem Dafoe. Did not need his character.
No.
Just spouting exposition about shit that's going on in Atlantis. I don't need him to tell me what's going on there for Aquaman to say I don't care. I already know Aquaman doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's drinking and hanging out with these land people. Of course he doesn't want to fucking be at home. And
Yeah.
he could even just throw out a line like, I'm not going back there. I think he even does say that a couple times, like, you know, like even Wonder Woman's like, oh, you know, I never thought I'd work with an Atlantean, and she was like, you know, why don't you go back there or something? And you know, I like that would have been fine. I think if we're talking about characters, also to your point about, you know, Barry, like everybody knows Batman's story, what Batman's been doing. We've had the whole of the previous film for him to kind of state his motivations. Same thing for Wonder Woman. Same thing for Superman. Making or fleshing out the Flash and Cyborg, and I think they did right by them more so in this film than in the theatrical release. I think I actually gave a damn about both of those characters more this time around than I did with the theatrical release, and I think that was a great thing to do. And if I could see anything done, I would take out all of the extra Atlantean shit, all the extra Aquaman stuff, and just give it all to Flash and Cyborg.
Yeah.
Really
Points to that. So, one, on the topic of things you could have done without, is all the scenes with Lois Lane breathing in her apartment.
Oh my God, yeah.
God, this is dragging
Did
so
not
long.
need that at all.
It's sad. All you had to do was show her going to his monument, and then show her coming back one more time whenever they resurrected him. That was it. That's 10 minutes saved right there. And then the other part was how much you enjoyed the Cyborg part. I watched it twice now, and the part where his dad's talking to him and he's realizing his capabilities, and he's like, you know, the world's financial system will bend to your will. And I got chills, like goosebumps all down my arm both times, because like, wow, this is awesome. Like, you actually get to see how capable, this is what Cyborg can do.
Yeah.
We got none of that in the first one. I think they got the Flash a little bit more, but Cyborg definitely, like, holy shit, he's kind of like the lead character now. He saved the day at the end.
Story. Definitely want to see
And
more of
then
that story.
the biggest point with the Flash was, I don't know if you remember the original version, his whole role at the end battle was to save this family in a truck.
Because they had nothing else to do with him. They didn't know what to do.
Version, he literally stopped and reversed his time to undo the destruction of the world.
So cool. It was so cool.
What the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah.
That's the part that gave me goosebumps.
That's what needed to be done. Are you kidding me? Huh?
It was cool to see them, like, they lost. It was cool to see that moment.
And he didn't turn back time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, then it's just him saying, like, you know, your kid was one of the greats, Dad. Like, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, they established it that he was trying to get his dad out of prison. His dad didn't want him to, because he's like, I'm here, go live your life. And then, if anything, maybe it would have been a little too cliche. But you know, maybe I don't want to rewrite the movie or anything like that, but maybe like if his dad like didn't believe in him, it was like, you're never going to be one of the greats, and then he ended up being one of the greats. But this was still fine. It was great. Like, I was really happy to see them do that with Flash, because I don't want to knock anybody. I'm at a loss for how to write properly for a character whose power is just running really fast, but they seem to do it from time to time. They figure out something, and this was really good.
Yeah.
Usually, one of the tropes is I wasn't fast enough.
If I was only
guy is
faster.
just the same powers, but just a little bit better.
Yeah.
He's just a little bit faster than me.
Or Barry fucked up the timeline. Or Barry fucked up the timeline. Like whenever something bad happens, I'm always like, Barry fucked up the timeline. Like that's why this shit is happening to me.
I might be a little biased, and maybe it's because of how I grew up, like learning about the character. But that Cyborg,
I thought you were going to say because you were slow.
I'm not a fan of him.
I'm not a fan of the design.
You know why? Because the very first time I ever knew about Cyborg,
I know what you're gonna say.
Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And I know that he can't be that like goofy guy, but like he's definitely like, I know Cyborg as more of like he's like, yeah, I know I'm like mostly a robot and my life kind of sucks, but it's like I'm gonna do what I gotta do with this, you know?
He didn't say booyah once. Terrible.
They took it out. I was so mad. I waited the entire shitty Joss Whedon Justice League for him to finally say booyah in the last like 10 seconds. And I was like, cool. And the credits roll. I was like, everyone's how it's supposed to be and the movie's over.
But I'll tell you what though, that entire ending fight scene really just wraps everything up. Like you got everything in that with Batman going in with the flying fox and then destroy and then coming out with the one line where he says where the thing crashes and then he's about to get in the car and he's like, just go in, just do your jobs. And they're still trying to call him. They're like, Batman? And he's like, they're here. And then he turns the
that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Like,
yep.
It's shit like that I'm like, how do you not like Batman? How is he not the fucking coolest ever? This guy has no powers whatsoever. And he's just, I'm going to go in and fuck shit up. Doesn't matter where it is, what they're doing.
Yeah.
Miserable orphan at the end of the day, so.
Well, he just wants to die, so it actually makes sense.
When Superman came back and he was fighting Steppenwolf, I'm not gonna lie, there was a point where I was like, it's like, yeah, he's back to save the day, and he's just like over him, just like,
yeah.
I was like, he seems a little unhinged. Like, yeah. I was like,
I actually felt bad for Steppenwolf at that point. Like, Steppenwolf's just like, he's not even putting up a fight anymore. I thought of the meme from The Simpsons, like, stop, he's already dead. He's just like, boom. And I'm like, okay, you won.
This brings up a good other point. It's funny that you felt that way. But do you understand why you felt that way about that?
Because Superman's an unlikable shithead in this one.
Well, besides that.
In the Snyder film.
No, but besides that, they gave him a backstory. They gave Steppenwolf a backstory with, he got booted out. He would have been Darkseid's like right-hand man, but now he's not. Now he's essentially a servant. So he's trying to live up to like his standard and what he wants him to do because he's trying to get back in his good graces. And it's so crazy how for an hour and a half prior to that, you watch him just murder people and you're like, wow, this guy's a terrible villain. But then they have this 4 or 5 minute scene where he's talking to them and he's like, I'll do whatever I have to do. And like you feel bad for him in a way. So it makes sense that when we get to the end of the movie and Superman's just fucking him up, that you're like, oh man, come on, just leave him alone. He's already dead. Like he has nothing left.
It took one scene.
Yeah, he even his eyes whenever they told him like you have to still earn 50,000 worlds. Like you saw sadness and despair.
He's
he's tired.
Yeah.
But seeing that final image of them, like they like knock him back and like Wonder Woman just leaping off and just like chopping off his head, just sending him right through the portal at the same time. I could have jumped out of my seat and cheered. It got me so pumped.
Dude, it's the ultimate fatality. Aquaman comes up behind him and fucking hits him with the trident.
That was cool.
Superman punches him right in the dick and he goes flying. And then Wonder Woman chops his head off and then Darkseid just steps on his fucking head and crushes his other horn.
I will say, when they first ran into Steppenwolf in the sewers, honestly, I think it was too short. I would have liked to see more. But when Wonder Woman was going toe to toe with Steppenwolf, and you heard her music going, that scene alone was better than the entirety of Wonder Woman 84. And I could have watched another 20 minutes of Wonder Woman just being a fucking badass and going toe to toe with Steppenwolf. That was I was not expecting this to be as cool as it was. I really liked it.
Yeah, that scene was all really cool. Just like I said, just to see everything extended out and have those longer things where nothing's cut. That just overall obviously makes the movie better. Now we'll get to the extra scene that was added at the end, the nightmare Batman scene where him and Flash are there, and Cyborg and Deathstroke. I'll tell you what, Joe I don't even know how to say his last name.
Manganiello.
Manganiello, however you say
Joe Manganiello or something like that.
We'll just call him Joe M. But
Joe.
He does make a pretty good Deathstroke.
That's why I recognized him. That's who that was.
Oh. Yeah.
Joe Manganiello, whatever the frick his last name is. Yeah, I was like, why do I recognize that man?
Because he was Flash in the first Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
Yeah, he plays Flash in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
He was the one that grabbed Spider-Man or Tobey Maguire at the time.
You know that image of Saving Private Ryan where he's like young and then
he like visibly ages in front of you.
That's how I feel right now.
So I never, anybody who compliments the ending of Justice League, and I'll say endings, I should say, is no longer allowed to give Lord of the Rings shit, because like Return of the King's been taking shit for years where they're like, oh, the movie ends like 4 fucking times. What is this bullshit? Justice League, the shot with them standing there looking out into the sunset should have been the end of the fucking movie. Screen goes black, credits roll, nothing after that.
But
I don't need to see Bruce Wayne by the farm. I don't need to see the fucking post-apocalyptic thing. I don't care. Like, that's just...
You don't need to see Martian Manhunter saying, hey, I know I've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter comes out to say, we're thinking about doing a sequel.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll happen.
I think the nightmare scene as like a post-credits would have been...
Yeah. That would have been fine. That would have been fine. Yeah.
Can I say this, though, which you guys, everyone's probably going to lose their shit. I kind of like Jared Leto as like the Joker we're expecting. Shut up. I know you're going to, I know, but I kind of liked where his angle and how he was taking it. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't the best, but it's kind of like, okay, it's better than the Joker. That was a better version of the Suicide Squad. Thank you. Exactly. So I was like,
oh yeah.
That's the see him play, not the Suicide Squad Joker that's just like, I don't know where you took this, but you took it in the wrong direction.
I can't stand my laugh, man.
Can we say that this Jared Leto's Joker at the end of Justice League, the only version of the Joker that he's better in is the version of the Joker he did in another movie.
I just like that it makes a reach around joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest though, I like the dialogue between him and Batman. And who in their mind heard like when Batman's like, when I kill you, and make no mistake, I will fucking kill you. Like,
which win though?
Had to get goosebumps. You had to get goosebumps. Like oh shit. Like, I don't care who you are. You could hate Justice League, you could hate Batman, but when he says that to Joker, there's a part of you that's like, oh god, I wish they could go further with this. You
almost see Jared Leto too, like in that moment when he says this, like, I will fucking kill you. That like you see him, it's like, oh. And then I love that he's just like, they almost had me.
No, but do you understand what that is though? Yeah. Because they're both trying to push each other, like to the ultimate point of like, are you gonna kill me or I'm gonna kill you? Like, and that's why with Joker saying, but the thing is with Joker saying, he knows exactly what it's like to lose someone he loves, like a mother, a father, a son. Like, he's saying those things just to push him and be like, just fucking kill me, right? Finally do it. Like, do what you're afraid to do. Joker knows he's afraid to kill him. And then it's also vice versa. Like, Batman wants to kill Joker, but he knows he's afraid to do it, you know?
At that point, though, when the world's all gone to shit, I don't know what the hell Batman's like holding out for. I mean,
I don't know.
Just fucking kill him.
send them off to Arkham if it still exists, I guess. Or
well, they had him for a reason, right? Like it had to do. It had to do something with the broken timeline, like Joker even mentioned. How many timelines did you break? Like there's a reason why you have the Joker around. He brought something to the table for whatever it is. Maybe he played some kind of key role in this alternate timeline.
Well, I guess also when everybody's dead, you take who you can get.
Yeah.
So
in one of the stories, though, doesn't Joker he has a series of bombs and then Lois Lane, and Batman essentially has to pick which one to save because Superman's like incapacitated at the moment, and Batman ends up taking care of the bombs. But essentially, Joker kills Lois Lane. I'm sorry. Yeah, and then Superman loses his shit, and that's why they go into like that apocalyptic world.
If you read the Injustice comics, it's actually what kicks off the video games. The Joker kills Lois Lane, and then rather than let Superman kill the Joker, Batman actually saves the Joker because he can't let the Joker die. Like, he needs him to keep living, and he can't let Superman kill him, and that's why there's like Team Superman, Team Batman for Injustice, and I think that's what they're hinting at for that. But that's a Hail Mary for like the casual audience to get.
Yeah, if you don't know all that backstory, then you're not going to really know that.
I would love to
see like an exact key of that Injustice story, because it wasn't so much just that Joker killed Lois, but it was that he tricked Superman, like it was using like the fear toxin, tricked him into seeing Lois as Doomsday, and immediately flew her up to space.
Yes.
And then kicked out at the last second. He's like, oh shit. And then once the second she died is what set off all the bombs.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, still can't kill him.
I can't do it. My hands are tied.
Just to see them like on screen.
Not even if there's a fire.
No. Just to see them on screen interacting, having that dialogue, it was nice at the end. I mean, take away Jared Leto's fucking god-awful laugh as the Joker. I mean, could you do a worse job? Like, I understand we're all human beings. We don't, like if you put me in that scenario, like it's hard, man, like to come up with a good laugh and then execute it in a moment, especially when you're on camera. But at the same time, it's like, you fought for this role, you wanted to do this, and now here you had a chance. Like, it's not like stuff they filmed like 5 years ago. This is something they literally just did. And we're like, all right, we're going to throw this on the movie as well. Like, you couldn't have a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel that initially watching it. After, like, analysis and stuff like that, now you go back and you watch it again, you're like, oh, this is actually compelling. But, like, on the initial watch, you're just like, I don't get the crazy Joker, the maniacal person that's like, he doesn't give a shit what happens. He's just going to fuck around with Batman. Like, that's all he wants to do. Like, I didn't get that vibe from him. I just got this vibe of like, all right, well, yeah, he seems a little bit off. His teeth are all fucked up. I don't know what happened to his mouth. Like, the whole card thing was cool, but you're just like not 100% sold on that. But I did enjoy it.
It was nice to just see them interact.
Did you notice in Cyborg's vision whenever they're kind of panning over and you see the dead Lantern Kilowog, and they're like, you see like the Justice League or whatever. Did you notice the torn card flying through? Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. What was that?
Yeah.
So in Cyborg's vision of the apocalyptic world, what happens is they pan to a scene where Superman is standing above a building.
Oh, and then Darkseid like puts his hand.
No. He's standing above the building. Yeah, earlier than that. And there's a banner that's on the ground that says Hall of Justice, and it's destroyed. And then you see Kilowog dead. His body's on top of the rubble. Superman is holding Batman's mask. And then they pan further and you see the Joker card that Joker gives to Batman, and it's ripped in half.
Oh.
Because he says tear it in half and we won't have a truce anymore.
Yeah.
So like that was cool to see with all of that wrapped up in the end. So that was interesting.
Zack Snyder was talking about his plans for the next movie, and it was essentially going to be more or less that they were going to find a way to go back in time, and then he sacrifices himself so that Lois lives, so that he doesn't.
So that the shitty Superman doesn't get shittier and kill everybody.
Yeah,
yes,
pretty much. They were going to sacrifice Ben Affleck. Pieces of shit. Listen, he needs to go back to being Batman again for at least 2 or 3 more movies. Go back to drinking. Listen, here's the thing.
There's no better Batman fight scene than in
the warehouse
when
scene.
He goes to save Martha in that warehouse, and he punches a dude through the floor. Like that was the most brutal Batman fight scene I've ever seen. That was.
I go back every now and then and just watch that clip, and it's just so good.
Dude, so she hadn't seen it. She hadn't seen it, and we're like, before we watch Justice League, you need to see this. So I made her go back and watch that scene.
It's true.
These Warner Bros. And DC need to get the person who it's this woman who I cannot for the life of me remember her name, but she does all the casting for the Marvel movies. I feel like all the characters in the DC movies are almost perfect. Like they're all good, but they could all just be a little bit better.
It's a good fit, but it's not a perfect fit.
All right.
Henry Cavill. Let me say about Henry Cavill. He's a great Superman, but anytime he tries to come off as intimidating or mean, I'm like, stop him.
He's too nice.
Yeah,
his overall demeanor is nice. Let's do this. This will be the last thing we do. We're gonna recast Justice League members. Who would you have? You can have anyone in the world. Every actor or actress is willing to be whatever character. Who would you place in each one of them?
I wasn't prepared.
I was about to say, chalk this up on a list of things I wish you would have texted me before.
I just thought of it right now.
I think there has to be one addendum to this. You can't choose an actor that's already played it before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So true.
All right, I'll give you the first one. I'll lead it off. Jon Hamm is Batman.
I knew you were going to pick Batman. Jon Hamm?
Yeah, a lot of people went for that.
I think he could do it. I think he would be a pretty good Batman. He has very square chin.
Yeah. Okay.
I see more.
He's got the hair. Yeah.
He'd make a great Bruce Wayne.
Does the serious, brooding kind of like manly man thing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
How about let's get Idris Elba to be the one Green Lantern.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That'd be good.
I could totally see that. That's a good one.
What's his face? Is his name Aaron Skarsgård?
Eric Skarsgård.
Eric Skarsgård. He's the Flash.
Okay.
Maybe I can see maybe doing Aquaman.
Nah.
No, Keanu Reeves, Aquaman.
Wait, who is Aquaman?
Keanu Reeves, fight me on it.
Keanu Reeves?
No,
oh God.
Keanu Reeves can be Batman.
He'd have to bulk up a bit.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I gotta get some meat on those
bones. He would 1,000% do it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
What about Josh Brolin as Batman?
No.
Yes. Yeah, I can get on board with that. For the other Aquaman, Chris Hemsworth, doesn't matter that he was Thor.
Yeah,
that would actually be great. I like blonde Aquaman. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I bet you do.
You know, fucking what's his face? I've kind of like removed Game of Thrones characters from my brain, but the dude who played Drogo playing Aquaman in this was pretty. It was pretty good.
I don't know.
I think he's kind of got like a westerny kind of outlaw vibe to him. I like it.
I would like to see Aquaman be how he's supposed to be, which is kind of like he's like, I am the royal. Fucking king of Atlantis. Yeah. Like very noble.
The thing is, my hang up with Jason Momoa, I like him as a person, but
that's
the thing is, he's another one of those actors that's like, he's just fucking good looking. Like he looks good on
he's there
screen.
To look good.
Yeah, like they don't really give him any lines. Like it's just really all right. My man. Okay. All right, man. Cool. Like, you're not going to really get any meaningful dialogue here.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if I don't see Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor or Willem Dafoe as Joker, then they failed horribly at everything.
You haven't seen the mock-ups of Willem Dafoe as Joker.
It's really good.
It's unreal.
Specifically, I sent you guys a video. I don't know if you watched it, but there's the pictures, but someone did someone edited a video of they were interviewing Willem Dafoe, and they edited the video so it looks like he has that scarry Joker makeup. Yeah, and he's talking about like in the interview, it's just Willem Dafoe, and he's talking about something about like a gap in his teeth. But there's something about with the Joker makeup on. He's like talking about it very slowly.
I need to see this now.
It's horror. It's like I'm pretty sure I sent it to you guys, but of course you didn't watch it.
Like his smile is perfect for it. Like everything about it, it's so spot on. But I don't think we'll ever see that.
Christopher Walken could be a good Joker too. They've got that same kind of creepy look.
So, I can see that.
The voice.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever seen him smile.
Exactly. all the reason it would be unsettling though, because he doesn't really smile.
That's true. That's a good point.
He does do it. It's like, ooh.
Who would play a good Riddler?
I would say Tom Hiddleston, but he's already Loki. I feel like it's too similar.
Yeah, those roles are a little too samey.
Andy Radcliffe.
I mean, what the fuck is his name? Why can I? Who did play Lex Luthor in the Justice League movies?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh,
he was perfect for Riddler.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
he was perfect for it, and they blew it. I'd say other than that, probably like Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris is too nice though. Like I have trouble seeing him as like a bad guy.
You know what? You know what I would honestly
go dark like that. That'd be awesome.
I would love to see them give Jim Carrey another shot.
Yes.
Oh my god, that would be great.
Yeah.
Because in that movie, he was made to play a Riddler that was like goofy.
They wanted Ace Ventura for fucking Batman.
But there's the thing, they still had some dark parts in that movie with Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Like, you got to really go back and search for it, but you see potential in that. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it is.
Yeah.
All right. So we just talked for an hour about the Snyder Cut. I think we have a consensus that it, like I said in the beginning, greatest movie ever made, better than Lord of the Rings, better than Harry Potter, all the trilogies. Yeah. Let's just throw Avengers away. Who gives a shit?
Fuck those guys.
Fuck them all. But I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I had a good time talking with you guys about it. And it was nice to recast the Justice League.
Chris Pratt as the Flash.
Brendan Fraser as every character.
Chris Pratt.
Brendan Fraser as every character.
Yeah.
He plays them all.
And we'll end it on that. Brendan Fraser is every character. Thanks for watching this episode of the Random University. Don't forget to go on TruExactRadio.com. Check out the online store. We have brand new merch up there. Don't forget to check out the Just Animals podcast. That's Ellie's down there, which eventually me and Scott will get on one day. We'll see if it happens.
Very exclusive. It's very exclusive.
Yeah, it really is. But go check those things out. Follow the Instagram, and we'll see you guys later.